Hey guys, Andrew McFarland here from StartAJuiceBar.com. Hope you guys are feeling happy and healthy. Hope you're inspired to grow your business or launch your business. Today we are talking about the 5 things that I would have done differently if I had known what I know now. But before we dive in, if you guys are new, you don't know who I am or what we do, I have been in the juice industry for coming on 13 years now, running my own concepts, myself and my company, helping hundreds of people all over the world launch juice bars, smoothie bars, acai bowl businesses, and more. So all the information on this channel is coming from this wealth of experience. Early invitation, press the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell because I'm sure you want to get alerted when we release new content. And now let's dive in. So as they say, the old adage and story goes, hindsight is 20/20, right? Because when you can look back, you can see things a lot more clearly than you can when you are inexperienced, immature, you don't know what's going on. And so I often reflect and often attempt to impart this wisdom on all of you when it comes to the things that I've just learned in general and as a whole that I wish I knew when I got started. But I had to learn the way I had to learn, and hopefully you don't have to learn from your mistakes, you can learn from my mistakes. As they say, a stupid person learns from their own mistakes. A wise person learns from other people's mistakes. So if you're watching this channel, then I would imagine you have a bit more wisdom than maybe I had when I got started. So what's the first thing that I would have done differently if I knew what I knew now? And that is I wouldn't have started with a juice truck. Not because we weren't successful, and not because you can't make money doing a juice truck, but because I had learned through experience that juice trucks, while you can make money, you don't generally make close to as much money as you would with a store. And I have a whole video on this channel about and I'll link it below in the comment section, and I'll put it at the end of this video as well. But about the pros and cons of different storefront models, storefront models versus delivery models versus juice truck models, the pros and cons of all the different models that you might take on. And so I won't go so deep into that right now and what the reasons are, but I learned after a period of time that with a juice truck, you have a limitation in terms of how much money you can make. And generally it's actually more work than running a storefront. So when I transitioned and we opened our first store and then eventually, multiple stores, I learned that it's so much more profitable. It's a lot easier when you have more employees. Everything about it is just better as a whole in totality for me and from what I see from clients and everything else than having a juice truck. But I had to learn that lesson in order to really understand that. That's number one. What's the second thing? And this is a really big one. I didn't save it for last, but I would say it could potentially be one of the most important, and that is I would have invested a lot more money in my company's presentation. And that goes for every dimension of the presentation, right? From the product photography, which I didn't invest in the beginning, the storefront design, the branding, everything. Why? Because as I have learned over time, it is often the perceptual value of a business that creates the actual income of that business, not the intrinsic value. So when you have a great brand, great presentation, great store design, people will naturally project that you have a great product. And there have been studies that have shown even people's taste buds are impacted by the presentation of something, right? So people will actually believe and experience your product to taste better if the presentation is better. So that was one area that I didn't invest a lot of money in because I didn't really understand the value of, and that's something that now I impart on our clients. It's more important than even your quality of your product to have a great presentation for your business. So that's the second thing. The third thing, which is somewhat related, but I would have invested a lot more money in marketing, running ads online, other things that I could have done, maybe billboards, etc. Why? Because I had a lot of people walk into my business and storefront after I was open for many, many years, 2-3 years later, and they were like, oh, how long have you been open? I live around the corner. And guess what that means? That means that there's 2 or 3 years that that person wasn't coming to my business, that they could have been a regular customer, that I was losing money. So I always say, and I'll just keep this short, but there are 2 dimensions when it comes to marketing, or I should say 2 phases. First phase, I define as the saturation phase, where you want to saturate the market. You want as many people in your community to know about your business and that it exists. for the reason that I mentioned before. The second phase is about getting customers to come into your business more often, right? Spending more money, re-triggering them to come back into the company. That second part is easier than the first part. Getting new customers is always more difficult than getting existing customers to spend more money and to visit you more often. So you want to saturate the market phase 1, and then you want to re-trigger people phase 2. But I would have spent a lot more money. That's the third lesson that I've learned. I would have spent a lot more money when it came to this dimension of the business. Number 4 is I would have really prioritized working smart over working hard. I think when we have a lot of energy, we have a lot of inspiration, we really overvalue hard work. We think, you know what? I'm going to be successful because I'm just going to work hard. And I use this analogy to paint the picture to hopefully make it more clear for everyone when it comes to hard work versus smart work. Let's say, for example, you have a car with a broken ignition, meaning the car won't start and it's at the bottom of a hill. Or let's use a better analogy. Let's say the ignition works. The car's at the bottom of the hill, but you don't have the keys. At least you don't know that you do. And so that's the lack of intelligence. You don't know that you have the key. You're at the bottom of the hill. And so what do you decide to do? You say, you know what? I'm going to push this car up the hill. And guess what? That's very difficult. That's hard work. What's smart work? Smart work is getting the key, jumping in the driver's seat, putting it in the ignition, and getting up the hill. Because the car doesn't care. And that the car is analogous to the marketplace. Your money's not emotional. The marketplace isn't emotional. It doesn't care how hard you work at all. It just cares, is the thing you're doing working? So another example is if you go to a juice bar, let's say as a consumer, and you go ahead and you order a juice or a smoothie and it comes out and you're like, you know what, this just isn't good. But the person who made it explains to you, I worked so hard on that. You don't care. You're like, that's really none of my business. I'm just paying for a product. I need the product to be good. Yeah, I could care less if you worked hard on it. I'm glad you put intention to it, but that's more aside from the fact that I need this product to be good. That's the marketplace. The marketplace and the world of entrepreneurship doesn't care how hard you work at all. That's for your ego. It's not for the results. What matters is accomplishing the goal. So you have to work smart in order to reserve your energy and preserve your energy to actually have more energy to keep growing the business and keep working smart. And yes, if you can add hard work and smart work, perfect combination. But smart work is more important than hard work. I'll just leave it there. Number 5, if I had known what I knew now, is I would have invested a lot more money in people who were experts, right? High-level managers, high-level marketers, high-level designers, all of these things, right? This is why people come to us, because they realize it's the importance of not losing money by trying to figure things out on your own, because that's very expensive and also very risky because you could go out of business. And for me now, and I've learned this lesson and I don't make that mistake later on, is I make sure that if there's something I don't know or something that a skill that I need or someone I need to hire, I invest the money in hiring people who are really, really great at what they do, because it makes me and saves me more money than anything else. One thing that I'll leave you with, and this will be the last statement that I make for the video, is when it comes to business, you know how much money you spend, but you don't know how much money you don't make. I'll elaborate on that. If you are in your business making $50,000 a month, and let's say your expenditures are $40,000 a month, so you profited $10,000, you invested $40,000 in being able to maintain and execute on that service or product. You know how much money you spent. You also know how much money you made from a gross income, but you don't know how much money you didn't make. Meaning, did you have a business that in that month could have made $100,000? You don't know. And why don't you know? Because you actually don't have the best people who are in the industry to really support you and guide you in optimizing for the best case scenario with your business. I often say that success is a spectrum. People think success is binary, meaning I succeed or I don't succeed, but success is a spectrum. You could have a business that profits $1 for the year, and you could say my business is successful because I haven't failed, so therefore I have succeeded, but you're not thriving and you can't live off $1. So in some ways you could also presume that maybe you have failed, right? It depends on the metrics. Whereas success is a spectrum. You could make $1 billion a year, you could make $10 million a year, you could make $100 million a year. That's the spectrum, because success generally has no ceiling. So you have to understand, when it comes to your business, the mindset you need to have is less of a defensive mind state, which most people have, meaning I don't want to fail. That's defense. And you have to have offense. An offensive mind state is, I want to become as successful as possible, and what are the things that I need to do in order to be as successful as possible? It's a different question. And both of those questions, one is, what do I need to do not to fail, versus what do I need to do to be wildly successful, will get you different answers. That's the message for today. These are all the things that I wish I'd known, or said top 5 things that I wish I'd known. There's many things, but top 5 things that I wish I'd known before starting, or when I just got started, that I know now. So hope this has been helpful. If you haven't pressed the like button yet, we have a problem. We're not friends anymore. You got to press the like button. Support the channel. Questions or comments, put it in the comment box below. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit the notification bell. Last announcement, follow us on Instagram. Exclusive giveaways, exclusive content that we only release there. We post multiple times a day. And if you like podcasts, the Juice Bar Experts podcast, it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, easy to find. That way you can listen while you're driving, you're going to work. Just keep that muscle of success and the right way of thinking about business and motivation just going. That's going to inspire. It's going to keep you focused and get you to where you need to be. That's all for today. This is Andrew McFarland. If you guys need support, you're ready to take your business to that next level, or to start and get on the right track, Andrew at StartAJuiceBar.com. You can reach out to me there. Wishing you guys a lot of success. Sending you my love. See you at the next video. Hope you guys have been enjoying the video content. If you're inspired to learn even more about how to start your juice business from scratch, for you, we have a free ebook. It's called the 15 Steps to Starting Your Juice Business. And this is going to go through a high-level overview, through a step-by-step process on how you get your business off the ground. Everything from, branding, menu development, finding the right location, and more. This is going to be a clear roadmap so you know how to go from where you are all the way to opening your store. If you want to go even deeper, we've also created an online course. It's called the Juice Bar Master Blueprint. This is going to go into great depth on everything from how do you put together and think about recipe development? How do you cost out your menu, and what's the math around it? What equipment do you need? How do you design your store? How do you find the right location? And so much more. I know you're going to find a lot of value out of both of these. There's links in the description below. So I hope to see you guys at the next video, and enjoy.